Mica. Let's see here. Supporter submachine gun, ammo capacity 120, reload time 2 seconds. That is kind of high. Why 2 seconds? 11.7% attack damage, 250% attack core. But she's support, so when landing 120 normal attack, which is her full ammo capacity, affects all allies. Tidying up, damage taken 2% stacks up to 10 times and lasts for 15 seconds. 20% damage taken. Okay. Let's see. Activates when caster studying up is fully stacked. Max ammo capacity 40%. 150 normal attack affects all allies. Increase stack count of stackable buffs. Won't her S1 take a long time to get max stacks? No, because she is also increasing the stack count on herself. So it's actually like a little less than half, or close to half. You would get like 9 stacks in 30 seconds. Yeah. Or 120 normal attack, which is 6 seconds. So 36 seconds. And then burst gauge filling. Oh, entering battle. Off of fast charging. 300%. Filling speed. Oh no, so she just has the energy gain for her. SMG regen on PvP 5.4, 300%. So is it times 3 or times 4? Is it times 4 then? Whatever this means, right? Like if this means, you know, if it's 300% more on top of the initial one, then it would be times 4. So 21.6, which will kind of put her on here above Noah. This spell, is there any debuff coming from PvP though? Oh, the damage reduction buff, huh? No, but then this takes like 30 seconds to ramp up though. So this is not even, like, skill 1 is basically useless on PvP. So like you're only using it for this attack, but yeah, no, this is not gonna do, no, it's not gonna do shit on PvP. But it would make her decent in PvE energy gen though. Like, because it will put her close to the shotgun levels. So that's not super bad. That's not the worst. And affects all allies. This spell, 39% of casters attack for 5 seconds. For a supporter and submachine gun. Feels like a mini litter with no CDR. Did she just power creep Coco? I mean, all that Coco has is basically the shield recovery. It did come out useful last solo raid though, the cover recovery. The thing is, not having any cooldown reduction is still just basically making yourself kind of out of meta. I could see this on solo raids. Like that debuff, you know, that's like a gimmick on solo raids. I'm trying to think about this stackable buff. Oh wait, you could run her with Tove. The 150 normal attack. How long is Tove's buff? 10 seconds for the burst kill. Same with like the co-op, she can upkeep the burst skill. Because 150, that's 7.5 seconds. So she can maintain the burst buff of Tove. Similar to how we did that. If you guys didn't know, like, remember the Tove cooking that we did? If you want to figure out like what we were doing earlier on how Guilty was kind of keeping up the buffs. But not having cooldown reduction is what kind of sucks. But she can basically keep the stacks along with Tove here and have her own attack buff alongside. What this is good on is it can help Tove keep up her stacks. This every 7.5 seconds. And then you want max ammo so that she can get this more normal attacks. You could actually use her. There's gonna be 2 burst one. It's gonna be weird. I hope that she was made as burst 2 instead, so you could actually use her with Tove. But maybe that might be too OP with this buff on the attack. And then the ammo capacity is a nice thing, which will actually also help Tove and other shotgun. You could actually use her alongside. Remember, yeah, again, like if you guys are curious about what I'm talking about right now, I talked about it on Tove here. The the stack that Guilty is doing. What this means is you could actually use her, Tove, Mica, Guilty, and you can actually use Sugar also. Like you don't it doesn't have to be Noir. And actually, wait, yeah, you don't have to use Noir at that point now. This stackable buff increase count is actually something we kind of want to explore more, because that's what they're trying to do. Also, they're trying to explore this a little bit more right now. So we're not even gonna get to use her on the Chatterbox raid. The earliest you would use her is January solo raid. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be using her on Union raid. Like this increased stackable count buffs, because before, I mean, Pepper did have it, but the issue with Pepper is she only increases it whenever she bursts. So there's a like that limitation. This time around, she can at least increase it every, let's just say like every 10 seconds or so. Like every 8, between 8 to 10 seconds, she would be able to increase the stackable count buffs. Mica with Novel, that will just help Novel speed up her thing, so you can get Novel to second burst. So because typically Novel's debuff is happening on the by the third burst, but then like if you have like helper on the stacking, so this actually was a strategy before of like Lord Maxwell Society. He used like Rupee with Novel, and he used that so that you can he can do the train faster, where he did the fast clear with it, and you by the second burst you ended up having Novel at full stacks already. So that is a strategy that can be explored also. But yeah, I think this stackable increase buff is something that is pretty good, and this max ammo is also another nice thing, which is, this is what you really kind of need on support, right? Like the basic is like at least some sort of attack buff, and then other utilities after that. This might end up also being useful. The reason why it would be useful on Solar Raid is because of this damage taken reduction also. Because other times, you guys know that if there's any content where you really need that survivability, it would be Solar Raid, right? But not being a healer, yeah, that's a tough part about it. That attack buff only lasting for 5 seconds, that is another downside. It's weaker than Litters. Overall, most of the time, this spell is it's a boss kind of gimmick mechanic. It's not something that you would really entertain on campaign or anything like that. So she is definitely gonna be used for bossing primarily. Another niche unit that is, at least I can see this kind of opening up other teams also. Which units would we be able to use them? I don't know. It's kind of like it's kind of up in the air right now. The main thing would be these stackable buffs. So units that have stacking on it is something that you can start exploring. But there's not really that much more other units that play around like dropping the stacks and then stacking it back up again. Other than really like primarily Tove, I see it, where your stacks drop and then you increase it. Because like for example, Scarlet, she has stacking also, but then she has pretty much like a permanent 100% uptime on that stacking, right? With Scarlet. Diesel, yeah, but then like, would you really use her with Diesel? Yeah, so, and again, not having that cooldown reduction. You know what? This caster's attack is such a bait to whales. Like, yes, she is like a support, right? But you know that like the try-hard whales will get multiple copies because it scales based off her attack. Here's the thing, I'm seeing a lot more of these casters like stats, which is like basically kind of like they're trying to bait all of these, like, okay, even though she's useless, but you see, if you feel like you want to min-max with her, you want to get more copies of them. Take away the dispel and make it 10 seconds. I disagree with that, mainly because I think having dispel is kind of just like a nicer option. Yes, it would be useless in a lot more situations, but I think some units just has to be niche. I think it's fine. And because like if it's 10 seconds, right? Like then now it's like crap now. But there it's too one dimensional. There's a lot more other units that are also doing that. And at least this one kind of opens her up more in different situations. Watch them start adding units with really strong stackable buffs but RNG to maintain to make it people regret not pulling Mica. I mean, just get one copy, call it a day. It's limited. That's to me, it's like limited. It's like, oh, okay, let's get one copy. I mean, just like what I did for Kokowa, this is looking more like a pull one and copium for, because like copium for other units. I don't see her being kind of really meta right now, especially with the units that have the stackable buffs. Ah man, dude, I wish like Shift Up would release a unit that has like these kind of mechanics first before releasing the units that support them. Like Tove was released and there's no other DPS that she's really gonna be, making really good on. However, using Tove did make us realize how hard it is sometimes to keep some stackable buffs. So this is where she would come in. And in future units where they end up having like crucial stackable buffs that you would constantly drop, either by, kind of like Diesel, where if you get the max burst or max stacks, then it would drop, or when you have Dove that like randomly drops out of nowhere, then these kind of things might end up being crucial.